Hello everyone, I'm Sandylu Guerrero of Life Trades Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. Welcome to Transform Your Life with Sandylu and friends with my very special guest today, Vincent Medina. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to log on. So as you see, you're going to see people kind of going in and out and out. But anyway, hi to everyone. I'm going to log in my tab here so that I could keep track. Jonathan is watching us over there on in Vegas. Hi, Mijo. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Margot. Hi, Margot. Margot's on. Hello, Margot.
Hey, Margot.
You know Vincent, my cousin over here. Oh, yeah. He's my cousin, by the way. Hey, Joe. My brother Tony's over there in Vegas. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm logging into my tablet here so that I could be able to check your questions and your comments, etc., and be able to say hi and acknowledge a few of you while you're on. Letty Medina's on as well. Hi, Letty. So I'm Sandylu Guerrero of Life Trades Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. This is my show, Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. And today my special guest is someone that's super special to me, and I mentioned it before. I figured I'd tell you now. And he's actually my cousin. So I've known him all my life because he's a little bit younger than me. A little bit younger than me. How much younger than me?
I'll accept that. We'll just leave it at that.
I am younger than you. No, wait, you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're younger than me. So anyway, hi, hey Tony. Hi Raquel. Raquel Torbillo says happy Tuesday. Hey Tony, hey Turi, Turi's on. Our Turi's on.
Hey.
Hi Turi. My other brother Margot Maji says hi my friend. Hi cousin Vince.
Hey Margot, we just did torch last week. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, I want to hear all about that. We got to talk about that a little bit too.
Definitely.
And hi Kat. She says hi Vin and San. Hi Letty says hi Vin, Sandylu and Vinny. Hilda's watching. Hi Hilda, hope you're doing well. All right, so welcome to my show, Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, with my very special guest and cousin, Vincent Medina. I'm going to give you a little bit of background, his biography, a little bit of background on Vincent. I know a lot more than what he has here, and you're gonna have an opportunity to hear about his story, where he came from, how he started, and what he's accomplished, and what are some of the things that have supported him, the rituals, the habits, the things that have supported him to becoming so successful. And also talk about some of the work that he does with the youth and things like that. So anyway, his name is Vincent M. Medina. He's a co-owner of Lotus Property Service, Inc., and an active leader in real estate, and real estate broker in the apartment industry. With over 20 years of experience in the real estate and investment industry, his expertise lies in the aspects of commercial real estate sales, portfolio management, and syndication. Vincent frequently writes for various trade magazines and translates his investment knowledge into interactive seminars that can be seen at trade shows throughout Southern California. Vincent is the past president and current vice president of the Foothill Apartment Association and is an industry expert who has sold and managed over $1 billion in real estate assets. His company, Lotus Property Services, Inc., which currently staffs 65 employees, is located in Arcadia, California, and is one of the industry leaders in the multifamily arena. Vincent, along with his partner Brian Gordon, launched their sister company, First Reliable Maintenance, in 2013, which provides maintenance services to management companies and property owners throughout Southern California, and currently serves over 5,000 units on a monthly basis. So there's a lot to Vincent. I'm gonna share more about his bio, because there's just so many things that I think that is really important. I think where we come from, sometimes we were born and raised in Boyle Heights, and sometimes we get caught up in these little boxes that are limiting. And so I want to share everything that he's doing, because I think it's very important that we get that we can always expand our plate and expand our horizons, and there's always an opportunity to do something new, different, extraordinary, and always give back. So Vincent transferred from East LA College to the University of California, Santa Cruz, where he graduated with a Bachelor degree of Arts degree. He has served on the board of directors at the Foothill Apartment Association, the Boys and Girls Club of East Los Angeles, and serves as a mentor in the Puente program of ELAC, working closely with at-risk youth in the community of East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights. His passion is conducting goal-setting seminars and programs to enrich the lives of inner-city youth. Vincent is an active member of the West San Gabriel Board of Realtors, the Arcadia Board of Realtors, and has affiliations with the Apartment Owners Association, the National Apartment Association, California Association of Realtors, Apartment of Association of Greater Los Angeles, Apartment Association of California, Southern Cities, and Certified Commercial Real Estate Investment Advisor. Do you sleep? Now I know why you're up all night. So as you can see, he's very busy, but and he's all about being of service based on what I'm hearing. And of course, I know him personally, but I'm even getting to know more about what he does on a professional level, because my cousin Vincent Medina here tends to be very humble and kind of private. I would say kind of private about the things you do, but you do a lot of things for a lot of people in the community, and not only in the community, but also within our family and our circle of friends. So and you're very private about it, but I'm really honored, and I'm honored that you're here, and I'm really excited to see everything you've accomplished. So thank you for being here, or having me. We're at your home, so thank you for also hosting the interview here at your home. But
I'm honored and humbled that you invited me to even speak here, so thank you.
Thank you. So I'm really proud of you, and I think that there's so much people could learn from you, and that's the reason why I really wanted you to be my guest. It's all about transformation, transforming people's lives, by sharing our life experiences, the challenges and the triumphs, and the things that we think about that keep us either going or stuck sometimes, and we have our conversations. We have very deep personal conversations about those kind of things. So now here you didn't say too much about the movie producing, but you're also producing movies nowadays. So
yes.
let's I know you're working on some projects right now, so let's kind of go back a little bit though before we go to the movies, because that's more current. But share with everyone a little bit about you. Like, how did you come about starting property management? I know that we grew up in East LA, and we used to sing, and we used to hang out all the time. And I think when we were like in high school, things kind of changed. I started mariachi. You were doing parties and things like that. But like, how did you end up choosing the career path that you did? What were the things that set you where you're at?
Wow, that's a good question. I think kind of by default, how I started the management, commercial real estate. I went to college. I went to Santa Cruz. I actually have a film degree. So my degree is in film. That bio doesn't say that because that's a real estate bio. So therefore I don't mention my degrees in film. And so when I got out of film school, I lived in Santa Cruz, I didn't want to move back into my parents' home. So I thought it'd be a brilliant idea for me to manage an apartment building. So I had a great experience in plumbing. My dad did plumbing. My grandfather ran his own little plumbing thing. And so I knew a lot about plumbing and maintenance, so I thought, well, if I apply that and apply for an apartment manager position, I can get into business and get free rent while I make my movies. That was the plan. Who would have known? Now I have this big property management company. So that's basically what happened. I did that. I got a job in property management of managing a building. I was doing my films, working part-time, and the company liked my work. I did a good job, and so they hired me on as a supervisor. And then I was doing mortgages at the time, and I wasn't a real fan of mortgages because it was a really shady industry. Even I knew it was a shady industry back then, so I just wasn't comfortable with doing mortgages. So I stepped out of that and went full-time into management and real estate and worked for a company. And here we are. Our company turned 10 years this year, so that was 10 years ago.
10 years.
Yeah, so right out of college, I don't know, a few years out of college, I started this company.
So what are some of the what was some of the inner conversation? Because I know we had this conversation one time. You said, one of the reasons that you were like, I'm not quitting, I'm not giving up, is because I'm not gonna go move back to mom and dad, and that's always for as we become adults, that's one of the biggest things is you don't want to go home because you kind of feel like you failed when you go back home, right? But what were some of the other things that you were experiencing? Because it took a while to get to where you're at right now. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who know me, I had a pretty rough past. I won't go into the details of my rough past, but I had a bumpy road. It was not an easy road to even get to college, because a lot of my friends were even surprised that I had even graduated high school, much less college. So by the time I ended up in college, you know, my past, my bumpy road that I had went through was pretty bad. It was pretty tough. You know, I was out of the house by 17, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. I wasn't necessarily the best son in the world, and so my dad was like, "Hey, ship up or shape out," and I was like, "I'm out." Maybe not the best decision at the time, but I think the path that I was on, the rough path that I was on, helped build character, because I was able to see. Not only, I was able to experience a lot of suffering in my personal life, like with the loss of Leroy and other very close family members. I think caused me to go to a really dark space in my life, and so I stayed in that really dark space for a long period of time. So when I decided to go back to school, it was a big transition. It was very difficult, and so.
How old were you when you went back?
I was 25.
25.
Yeah, which seems really young now, but
it's
back
really
then,
young, but yeah.
But back then, 25 was like,
oh my gosh, I know. I remember I used to think I'm 25 and I don't have any. I'm not married yet. That ridiculousness.
But, but you figure from 17 to 25, that was a good little run. It was 8 years of
insanity.
Good times, bad times, crazy times. So a lot happened in that 8 years. So when I finally went back at 25, I got real serious about what I wanted to do. And I think even though I was in the space I was in, my parents did a good job of raising me and instilling some important values that I felt I always wanted to do something. I knew I always wanted to do something. I didn't think I was going to be a bum. I mean, I probably should be a bum right now, but thank God I'm not. And so I think just that passion of like wanting something bigger, or having seen in those 8 years, I saw a lot. 93 out of high school, class of 92, just aged myself. But 93 was the year there was more killings in the city of LA than any city in the nation. So we were the murder capital of the U.S. and lost a lot of friends. I'm sure you lost a lot. We lost a lot of people. I mean, in those years, I lost so many people. I can't even keep count. So it was really, like, looking back, I think it's a little bit of PTSD, like what we experience here in the neighborhood, And so I think because of the pain that I experienced, it caused me to makes you be a little grateful, You become a little more compassionate and understanding about others, especially when you experience pain yourself. You're more apt to understand what other people are going through. And so, that was a big driving force in when I went back to college and what I wanted to do, because I wanted to make films and I really wanted to tell the stories of what my experiences were, growing up here and not your stereotypical stories, because I wasn't a gangster or anything like that. I mean, given that was an environment that, I know plenty of gang members, trust me, but that was not my story necessarily. Although I knew them and might have hung out with them and interacted, but I always felt like our stories needed to be told. So that was like, and then those 8 years of life that I lived were pretty interesting. So I thought, oh wow, this would be a fun topic. And so when I decided to go back to film school, was to be able to tell these stories and learn the art of storytelling. Was because I wanted to make film and be able to take that and give back and all this. I had this big grand plan in my head, and here I am doing property management now. But so yeah, that was.
It's a vehicle. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know. I remember thinking, he went to film school and he's doing property management. What does property management have to do with film school? And then of course it comes with judgment. And knowing what I know now is that we've learned. I think maybe, I don't know if you realized it at the time or if it was already a plan, because I don't know what you were thinking, but it really has been a vehicle to getting to the bigger picture of your life, of what you want to create for yourself. Would you agree? Or
absolutely.
Was that already like your intention when you started property management? Or just kind of happened that way?
It was a very tough decision for me. So what happened was I was working in property management, and the guy I was working for at the time, I guess he thought I was talented in like construction, in the construction world, because I had a plumbing background and I had a knack for doing certain things. So he was like, hey, let's start this maintenance company, and you can run it and blah blah, and I'll split it with you and this and that. And so I was like, oh great, make some money doing this. And I was still kind of dabbling with film at the time, and he basically the typical story of, you know, I got promised something and got robbed and, you know, cheated and all that fun stuff. And so I felt really disillusioned and burnt, so to speak. But I was fortunate. I got to meet my mentor there, who Craig Haskell, my mentor, just an amazing human being. Who he's the one who inspired me to leave and go start my own company with Brian. And so it was a tough decision, because remember, I wanted to make film. My passion was to make film. I mean, I didn't want to be poor, that was for sure. So I had this really difficult decision to make, because it was my passion being wanting to make film, but also the fear. And I guess I shouldn't have had the fear, because if I would have been as determined about my business about film, then I probably could have just equally done well in film. But I guess I wasn't sure of myself. And so I had to make a conscious decision to put my film making career down. Like, it was a legitimate, like, okay, it was sad too. It was a very difficult moment for me, because I had to say bye to my film career, because I really wanted to make film. That's what I wanted to do. But I did it with, and it's funny, and it's funny how life works. You don't think that time goes, and before you know it, stuff's gonna happen, you know. And so I put it down, and I said, I'll be back. I'll be back at a point when I feel financially comfortable and I'm in a position that I can come back and make film again, you know. At a different capacity, I think, and now the way I'm involved now, I do more producing and writing, where back then I was doing more directing and more hands-on stuff. And like business, being a producer is like running a business, you know. You have people who do everything, and you kind of give them guidance, you know. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was a tough decision. I remember I was living in Alhambra, I was renting an apartment, I was leaving this company that I had worked for that paid me really well, and I left. I quit. I didn't have much savings, because I wasn't very good at savings. Remember, we only learn whatever our parents teach us, and so I didn't know much about that until, you know, working with the clients and different people who are wealthy, and you start to pick these things up as you go. And so I quit this job in Alhambra, and I made that decision to put down my film career, which was tough. But
and a lot of people do that, you know. That's the thing. It's the sad thing is that a lot of people do that because they want we want the comfort of knowing you're gonna have a roof over your head, you know, your basic necessities, and if you have a family, well, then you really have that challenge. But a lot of people don't come back to it. You know, they don't come back to it. So I acknowledge you for not giving up on your vision and your dream.
That was the only piece that I had. That was the only piece that I could give, was that I promised myself that I would come back, that I would succeed in what I was going to do well enough that I can come back to what was my passion, which was to be able to tell these stories of, you know, our community and, you know, our people, and just, you know, real stories, you know, not your typical stories that we see. It still bothers me today to see some of the movies that are out
you know,
there.
I mean, when we both grew up in Boyle Heights, but your experience compared to my experience, other than the loss of my brother, was very different. I was very involved in music, so my circle was very different. I didn't experience the loss that early on, other than when Dewart passed away.
Right.
But it's interesting how we grew up around the corner, but we chose different paths. And my path of music kept me out of trouble in more of a, you know, although I still managed to make some really stupid choices, don't get me wrong. Hello. You don't do that, okay? So, you know, but it's interesting how we grew up in the same neighborhood, and I think it's important that we do share the stories and the different experiences and interpretations, you know, because we all make different choices, and those give us certain results, and they're not always the best, but we could get stuck in them, or we could learn from them, and you've chosen to not get stuck. Now, now we're going to give away your age, because
I think we were going to give that away, but go for it.
Yeah, now we're going to give away your age. Hey, we got to embrace it.
I'm not hiding my age. I'm good with it. I'm at peace with my age.
Hey, we have good genes in our family. Most people look younger than their age, so we're good.
See, I like to ask young people how old they are, because they don't have any idea what age is, so they'll be like, I don't know, 34, and I'm like, that's right.
Hey, I get people our age to tell me that too, and I'm like, yes, I'm good. Okay, so anyway. So at what age did you start back into film?
I went back to brush up at UCLA 2015, and started again back, I guess 2015, yeah.
2015, okay, so now you were already 41? 39?
No, it was 41, 40, or 40.
40.
Yeah, because I'm 42 now.
All right. So, and the reason I have you share is because, I want people that have vision and dreams and goals that they haven't gone for whatever reason. Sometimes you want to raise your kids and you want to give them that stable income and home, etc., which, we understand and, I completely respect. But, can you use where you're at right now as a vehicle, as an opportunity, as your launching pad to live your vision, to create your vision, to create your dream, to make it happen. And I love that that no matter what, like not only that you create you're working on your vision and you're making film now, but you created a really successful business. Actually I worked at his office part-time. I worked part-time for a while and then I full-time at your office back in 2007. And I remember I had this tiny little cubicle space, like it was tiny. And it was
inside of a tiny
there was just a handful of us that worked and it was this tiny little space, and now you have 64 employees. Is that what it is? 65 employees, and you started the maintenance company.
Right.
And now you're going for your film.
Now we're going full throttle film.
Yes, and I was able to see and be part of one of your projects, which is a funny one. I personally think it's funny. It's way out there, and it's
it's a little out of my typical style of writing, but yeah, it's gonna be great. It'll be out there. You guys will see.
It's great. I know. You know what? I thought about it, and it slipped my mind, but I was like, oh, maybe we could show a little clip while we were here.
Yeah,
maybe on a future one, before you launch it, before it goes out publicly, we could do something for sure. But I think that and we've talked about this, like rituals and habits and things that work for you, and we've talked about it because I'm in my journey as well. I chose to take myself on at a later age as well. But what are some of the things that you do or that you've done, like from the beginning, like maybe some of the challenges, but then what you did to shift it to change the result? What are some of the things?
Wow. Well, yeah, it wasn't like I just quit my job and started this like successful company. It wasn't that easy. It was very difficult, in fact. Like no food, just enough money. I had just bought a brand new car, so like, which I still have in my car today. Like it's the one thing that reminds me of like when I bought it. Like I bought it, and I remember I quit my job right after, and I was like, oh shoot, how am I going to pay for this new car? But I saw it like there was no way I was going to step backward. I never stepping backwards has never been an option. It's always moving forward, and so it was a struggle. I mean, it was definitely a struggle, and just the perseverance of not giving up. I mean, there was moments where, and then we've had this conversation. I mean, I was ready to go sell flowers. I went to the flower mart. I priced out dozens of roses, and I was like, all right, they're $12 for a dozen. I could go out at night and sell them. Like, I'll be wearing a suit in the morning to my real estate, and I'll go sell flowers at night. Like, I mean, I had it all mapped out. I mean, failure was not an option. Moving back to my parents' house and doing all that was just not an option. And so, I was fortunate enough I didn't have to sell flowers, but trust me, I got pretty close.
Whatever it takes.
I might have ate some flowers for lunch, or skipped a few lunches or dinners, because, when you don't have any money, you do whatever you need to do to make it. And so it was difficult. It was not easy. And little by little, I think that passion and that desire and to make it happen, was important. And I did a lot of typical practices like visualizations. I had vision boards all over my room, and affirmations. And I would, back then cell phones weren't like as popular where you could watch now I watch YouTube videos every morning, some kind of inspirational something. But I would always read some kind of self-help book, something that would inspire me. I'd always do that. That was my ritual. Like I said, vision boards was something. And it's funny, I look back and now you ask me this, I'm like experiencing like what I would go through. Like I'd go to the gym in the morning, like I'm not a gym dude, but I would go because I felt like I needed to keep moving in order to get to where I wanted to go. And I felt like that helped me to keep that energy, and it was very, very, very precise what I did. I wake up in the morning, I'd make my calls to clients as I was trying to build my business, and I was doing, because I had just came out of the construction world, I was doing like remodels for people. It's funny, I was looking at, it's funny that you said, because I found a bill that I did a remodel for my aunt, like a full-on kitchen remodel, like pretty nice, like it was nice, it was really, really nice. And I made $400 profit on it. And I go, wow, $400 profit, like, on this full remodel. I was like, wow, that was a good deal. But it was funny. Like, I mean, I was literally, I mean, that's the kind of money I was living off of. I was bare boning it, you know, and I was just trying to keep myself alive. And so yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess I had a very strict regimen. I'd make my calls, try to get work, and then I would like go to the gym, then go see my work sites, and then, you know, just by little, stuff started to unfold. You know, it was, they say it's kind of like magic, and it kind of is. You know, you have an expectation and a desire, and that focus starts to unravel like a magic, you know. But it's not really magic because you're doing all this other stuff. But I mean, my main focus was like, okay, I got, like I set a goal. Okay, these are my bills. If I can get to this point where I can make this monthly in my bills, then I'm set. I can like breathe. Like, you know, I won't be rich. I'm not balling, but I'm at least like making my bills, and I'm good. And it just happened like that, you know, and then so on and so forth, and, you know, it just kept snowballing, you know. And it was, but a lot of dedication, passion. I mean, I always tell the kids, I like to go talk to the kids a lot, like, you know, and just that desire to succeed, you know, and not so much for myself, but for the people that I love, to be able to help those that I wanted to help, you know. And so that's been like the driving force, I think, you know. Yeah, yourself too. I mean, hey, who doesn't like nice things? But on the same token, that was a big part of the driving force, you know. I felt like I'd put so many people through so much. At least I could do is give back a little bit, you know. And so, by the grace of God, you know, I've been able to do that. And so, you know, but it wasn't easy. It's a struggle, and it's still a struggle. I mean, it's, you know, now we deal with different problems, bigger problems, you know. That's all we do is where we top fires, you know, from lawsuits and all that fun stuff. I mean, you know, it comes with the territory, but
well, they say
life's good.
You know, I sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want to be rich because then I'll have all kinds of problems." I'm like, I'd rather have rich people problems than poor people problems.
That's right.
There's problems, there's no problems.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
It's just it's an interpretation of everything, but
Yeah.
just being present to the journey. I think. Do you think that at the time that I don't know? I know you've done a lot of self-development now in the last. You know, you've done it throughout the years, but do you feel that you were like in the moment or in the present at the time?
When I first, I mean, now it's funny because I've always gone like to minimum 2 types of self-help seminars a year at least. I try to hit at least 2. That's a must. You know, more if possible. You know, but guaranteed 2 is my like minimum. And like I said, reading books and I mean. All day, every day, I'm trying to feed myself because, you know, life's tough. You know, life kicks you around, and, you know, and you have to do something to keep you motivated. You know, I went recently through this big transformational training process, which started in December of last year and finished just 4 weeks ago. So, you know, it was, you know, constantly seeking growth, I guess, in that sense. And so, what was the main question?
It was, gosh, even I forgot. I got caught up in what you were saying.
I guess kind of just that growth that you kind of go through.
Yeah, if you were like present, do you feel like, you know, because I mean now we're, I think in a sense we're enlightened. So one of the things that we learn in our journey of transformation is being present and in the journey and just being in the moment and allowing us to experience the experience and take it all in. Because otherwise, sometimes we just caught up in do, and you miss out on the journey. Do you felt that you were more in the doing at the time, or do you felt like you were present to what you were experiencing?
I was very present. Now that you mention it, I got less present as I started doing better because life gets a little easier and you get a little more stagnant, I think. But when I first started, I was very present because everything was methodical that I did. I didn't do anything that was not necessary to be done. You know, and so I did everything possible. You know, I don't drink or do anything like that. Since I started my company, I mean, that's the dedication I had. In other words, in my life, and I picked this up from my dad, so I can't take full credit, but it's family first, then work, then everything else. You know, and that's been my work ethic. You know, and so, you know, drinking and anything was just off the table, and it's just been that way ever since. I mean, that was my dedication. My dedication was so profound. And I like that you said, was I present? Absolutely. I was more present than I think I've ever been. And that's what I'm trying to recreate now, is to be back in that present, like, that energy that I had that just inspired me to go, like, and it's funny, they always say that, like, when you look back, I guess it's nostalgia, right? Like, you look back at that, it's like, oh, it was so cool. Like, no, it wasn't. It was pretty rough. But it was, because it was like that experience of like, oh yeah, I got this, and it's still, you get it to this day, but it just was a little bit sweeter, right? Like, we get a little spoiled, I guess,
So I think in a sense you kind of take for granted that things are that much easier. Like it's not the same. So I totally get what you're saying. It makes complete sense.
I mean, I'm grateful. I'm very, very, very grateful. I don't want to say that, but yeah, you get a little less. It's not. You don't have the same. It's like being a kid, right? When you experience something for the first time, It's like when I got my first Porsche, and then I got this one. It was nice, but it wasn't as exciting as the first one.
Yeah, he got another Porsche.
But it's that experience, that raw experience that I had. I can remember that. I like that you mentioned that, because I was very present. I was very, very present, very motivated, and everything that I did meant something. I didn't waste time.
You're consistent. You were consistent, and everything you did was in alignment with what you were. Right. What your goal was.
Correct.
That's very cool. Very cool. I love it, and I love that you're sharing all this, because we talk a lot about very profound things, especially about business and the journey as well. And you've given me some amazing tips as well. But I think sometimes people out there, they see, we all make up things. We're meaning-making machines, and sometimes we judge and we don't know what's going on. We don't know people's journey. Like, you just see, people just want it all, but they don't want to do the work, and the fact that you're sharing, like, it was tough. I didn't have, I was worried about, what was I going to eat, and selling flowers, and, and all that stuff. I Ubered, so, I get, I totally get it, but people don't understand the journey. It's a process. It's challenging. It comes, like, there's nothing convenient about choosing your own path, your own business, your own everything. And so, I hope you're all listening out there, and I'm going to say hi to a few of you, but this is really important, and you're never too old, and it's never too late, and you don't have to have money or all the answers, but you got to go for your vision and your goals.
Absolutely. If one big takeaway would be that you jump and you grow wings on the way down. I didn't have a safety net, and that was the biggest catalyst for me, is that I didn't have a safety net. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I could have went back to mom and dad, right? They could let me sleep on the floor or the couch or something. But there was no safety net. It was swim or drown, and hey, you'll learn to swim. That was how it works. So I think if there's something, definitely that. Just jump, and you'll grow wings on the way down. Guarantee it.
I love
We're
that.
humans. We'll survive.
Yeah, exactly. I tell people, trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. In fact, there's this organization called Skillify, and they do mentorship and they do programs for the youth. So I spoke at one as a panelist, and I've gotten, and I had a lot of them come and ask me a bunch of questions about what I do, but they were more intrigued of how I overcame the obstacles and challenges in my life, and how now I'm helping people, right? But one of them wanted to wanted to know more about my inside of my career and whatever, and tips today. So I talked to her today for it's like a 15-minute thing they set up, and it's very professional. They learn how to communicate professionally in business, and etc., which is really cool. But she goes, is there anything that you think, I'm a junior, is there anything that you think I should know, or that's going to help me in making the decision in my career? And I told her, I said, go for your vision, whatever you want, follow your heart. You got to follow your heart. At the end of the day, not everyone's going to understand you, not everyone's going to be on board, but be on purpose. Be on purpose on everything that you do. Time is going to go no matter what, so you got to make sure you take action, because no matter what, time is going to go. It doesn't stop. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this because it's going to take me this long. Oh, I don't want to do this because I want to have kids. Oh, I didn't have kids. The time still passed, and I didn't get it done. So let me tell you, don't learn it the hard way like I did. If you want to do something, go for it. One step at a time. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. We figure it out, right?
We figure it out.
And life is always bringing you new challenges. Even, at every level, the challenges even get bigger.
They keep coming. They don't stop by no means. Life keeps showing up. And it's funny you say that about the time thing. I just had this conversation with a high school student. She's like, I want to be a doctor. I was like, oh, you could totally be a doctor, This is for this weekend training that I did with these kids. And she's like, no, but it's going to take too long. I'll just become a nurse. And I was like, look, she was like, it's 8 years. And she brought about, I go, look, it's going to be 8 years that are going to go by, whether you're doing something or not. 8 years are going to go by. So it's up to you whether you want to do something in those 8 or not, And at the end of the day, and I always use the example too of the 3 little pigs. I go, the little pig who built the foundation and took the time was the one who survived, And it's the same in life, You take the time, because the time's going to pass. You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Whether you are doing something or doing nothing, the time is going to pass. So you might as well make use of it, And the problem is that we look at everything as a big whole. And that's why I like what you said about being present, because absolutely I was present. I had to be present in the moment, because if I thought too far ahead, it would kick me down, And so by just building the foundation one block at a time, one day at a time, I was able to sustain my sanity for one, and not overwhelm myself with this, big, what am I going to do, because, you kind of create it as you go. And it's funny that and another thing, you made me think of a story when I used to, at some point I had a pretty good job working for LA Unified, and when I left, I remember my uncle sitting down with me and having this conversation with me saying, don't quit, it's a good job. This is when I decided to go back to school. Don't quit, you got a good job, you can still work there, go to school, and then that way you can promote. And I was like, no, I want to go to school, And I was respectful. I was like, hey, go with all due respect, I want to go to school and I'm going to quit my job, And so when I quit my other job, when I was making really good money, I didn't tell nobody, because I was like, everybody's going to be like, you're crazy, don't do it. No one, because, and people don't do it on purpose, your family genuinely cares, and they mean well, but a lot of times your capabilities and your passion and what you can do. And if you tell people, in fact, there's a book my dad gave me, and it's like, how to keep a secret, meaning like, don't tell people what you're trying to do, because people will knock you down. People will tell you won't be able to make it. And sometimes it's your own family, and they don't mean it in harm. They mean it because they're worried about you. They want you to be safe, I had a good job. Of course they want to be like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to go to like, and I did. I suffered, but I knew why I was willing to suffer, because I figured, and we had this conversation. I says, man, I probably work 60-hour days for this, dude. I go, if I did 60-hour weeks, for myself, wow, beast mode. Like, I could do some stuff. And I just started doing the math. I was like, if I actually put that much time that I put into somebody else's thing, if I did that for myself, I was like, I could sell flowers, I could do my business, I could just make it all happen, because I was working. I understood what it was to work. And so that was like, I realized that was really like, if I put that much time into myself, I think I could do this, and by the grace of God, I was able to do it. But it was a lot of these little realizations, and keeping that secret of not telling people, because I knew everybody would have said, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it, because, and sometimes people don't want you to make it, and so that was something I had to be really cautious about, because I didn't want the negative energy. I understood that the power of the negative energy and the power of positive energy, and you gotta, it's good, a positive thing, but you gotta put, like my dad says, he says, treat and move your feet, meaning, it's okay to have the positive, side of the thought process, but you gotta like take some action, move some feet, Chinese proverb says, talk, don't cook rice, right? I love it. And so, a little of that, so. Yeah.
No, and it's true. It's like, you got to keep moving. And it's pretty interesting when you start moving, things start coming up, and then more opportunities come, and you open up to new ideas. Like, wait a minute, I didn't think about that. But how did you do? I mean, because I know about my personal journey and what my last year was where I quit my full time. So now I'm a year and a half on my own.
Love it.
Insane, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know that, because I'm very grateful and thankful that you understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and my brothers and sisters understand what I'm doing, and part of it is because they've done the transformational work themselves, so they get it. So I have the unconditional support and whatever, and not everyone has that, so sometimes we gotta seek it, or go out there and get involved with organizations that support us. And and I have all this love and support. And other than yourself, most of my family they're not all business owners, and they're not, right. They don't know all the behind the scenes and all the all the little steps and all the other details that come with owning a business, right? Because I'm a coach, but then when it comes down to it, it's a business. So now I get to do both. So I tell people I'm the receptionist. I'm also the producer here.
Yes, you are. I'm
the
impressed,
producer.
by the way.
I have a big vision. I have big vision. It's very and it also comes with a lot of uncomfortableness, without a doubt. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. I'm constantly stretching and growing and being uncomfortable and having that support. So I'm very thankful that I have you as one of my sources of support. But like I got involved with NLBWA, National Latina Businesswomen Association, which is a great organization in supporting. So I'm actually was elected as one of the board of directors. So officially this coming week, I'll be official. But did you have anybody for yourself? Because I know that part of it is, of course, you don't want to tell everybody because they think you're nuts, right? Because sometimes they're like, "You're nuts. Are you serious?"
Right.
But did you have someone? Did you go to someone, or or maybe your friends that you had that you're close? Because I know you have a great circle.
So nobody knew what I was going through. I went through it by myself because I didn't want my parents to think about it or worry about what I was going through. So I went through it by myself. Luciano, actually, my friend Luciano, who's a PA, and he was.
We gotta have him on.
He was maybe done with PA school at the time, or just going through it. And he was like my little support because he would trip out on me. He would come, like, "Hey, how's it going?" He knew I was starting this business out of nowhere, and he knew it was rough. And I love Luciano to this day. Like, oh, that man's my brother, because he was there during these moments, and he'd come check in on me, like, "Hey, how you doing? You all right?" And I would be like, "Yeah, I'm struggling, or I did this, or I did that." And so he was there every step of the way, which is really cool. And that's how me and Luciano had gotten so close. And so he was there, and then I had a mentor, Craig Haskell. Was extremely successful, owns a few thousand units, and is just like this syndication coach, which actually I'm working with him again. And this guy was just so inspiring for me. And when I was working for this other company and I went through this getting robbed situation by this guy, he was like, "What are you doing?" They had hired him on as a consultant. And so he showed up, and he was just this charismatic, beautiful human being. Guy's like 6'4" and just like full of energy, like just reminds me kind of like Tony Robbins. Just a beautiful human being. And he said, "Vince, what are you doing here?" Like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Why don't you run your own company? Because you can run your own company. I know you could." And I was like, "Wow." And it's like this, real successful white dude, and I was just like, "Wow, me? Really? Like, you think I could run my own company?" And so he was certainly a catalyst, and I get to thank him. I just had a phone conversation because we kind of had lost touch over the last year. I went through a divorce, and so I kind of disconnected. And so I called him up, and he had his challenges too. And he was just like, "Wow, Vince, great to hear from you again." And this is my mentor who guided me through the process of there's no way I can take where I'm at because I did it by myself. By no means. I had a mentor. And this is one thing I tell all the kids and students and people and anybody out there who's looking, like, don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel has been invented. There's no reason to try to reinvent it. If you can find somebody that's doing what you're doing and ask them how they did it, that's, the best way. And I was fortunate enough he was in Arizona. It wasn't like he was local, but he was like my support system. And and one of the things that I did, and right now actually I'm looking at some properties in Ohio. I was telling a friend about, and I bring this up because what I did is I became an expert in the industry by studying the industry so much. You could have owners or clients or people who had been in the industry for 20 years, and I just read every book, trade magazine, anything that I could put my hands on that were about my industry, I did. So I made myself the expert. And that was something he told me. He goes, "Make yourself the expert, Vince. Go, the only thing I haven't done yet is write a book, which I'm gonna do." And because he's like, write your book. He has like 3 or 4 books, and the guy's just a beast, but he's like, "Make yourself the expert. So I started to go speak at events, or we would create certain events to speak at. Before you know it, people are calling me, "Hey, Vince, you won't come and speak at this investment seminar or whatever." And he taught me all this stuff. I was able to be mentored in that way. So I think that was a big one, and I thank him to this day. I tell him, I just had this conversation the other day, and and he was so grateful. And he's like, "Man, Vince, I love you," or da da da. And I was like, "No, I owe you so much because you gave to me so freely, and that's why now, I mean, I'm more than willing to help or do if I can offer that in any way because somebody did it so willingly for me, So mentorship, huge. I think
Gotta have mentorship. Yeah.
You gotta have somebody that'll mentor you or guide you. I mean, you don't have to, but if you read all the stories of all the greats, they had a mentor, they had coaches. I mean, I have a business coach and a life coach, plus my mentor. So, that's what my circle is today, just to keep this little machine going, And so, and actually he's coaching me and Brian right now into, we're making our next move into just doing some more syndication projects and stuff like that. So, we're always constantly learning and growing and trying to evolve, and it's fun,
Yeah, it's definitely, it is. You can't, I mean, I think that's part of why you become not present is because you become stagnant. Like, it's comfortable,
Right.
You're happy, it's good, but because you're not challenged anymore and you're not taking,
Right.
So once you start challenging yourself, then you start experiencing, what am I feeling right now? What is going on? Or what happened? Or
Right.
what, that kind of stuff. We've been so involved in our conversation. I haven't acknowledged the people that are on, so my apologies to you because I'm so involved. And it's funny, right? Because I've known them all my life, but we always have the most awesome and profound conversations. So this is a whole other profound
Yes.
and awesome conversation that we're having here. But Kathy says, "Oh, Boyle Heights series coming soon." Yes, the Boyle Heights series coming soon.
Coming soon.
So it's going to be great. Christy's on. Hi, Christy.
Christy.
Kat says, "So proud of my beautiful cousin and my handsome, humble little brewski, brother Vin." Okay, all right. And Jamie's on in Vegas. Hey, Jamie. Lourdes sent a bunch of happy faces with crying tears. Rosemary Garcia says, "I'm so proud to know you, Vinny, as a 9th-month baby boy, and now a very intelligent and powerful and very humble man. Always stay that way. You are a beautiful person. You were raised by awesome parents."
Thank you,
Let's see,
Rosie.
I'm
That's so touching. Thank you.
And she says, "I'm so proud of you. Have a heart of gold. You're awesome son and the best brother in the world. In my eyes, your friend always, Rosemary."
Oh, I love you, Rosie.
So
you
sweet.
are family. Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, we've known her since we were babies, literally.
Yeah,
I think
she's
she
known me
babysat
since
us
I was a baby.
too, right? Josie, you're
Well, Nanto, her brother was my best friend growing up, So, yeah, we go back.
way back.
Thank you, Rosie.
All right,
That's
Josie's
so
on.
beautiful.
Aunt Josie's on. Hi, Josie.
Yeah, Josie.
Kat says, "Thanks for supporting my brother and cousin, my beautiful Facebook friends and family." XOXO Cat's all over it. Oh, thank you, my BFF Rosemary. We've had some real missions. Thanks for always being there. We always, sister. Okay, thank you, beautiful friends. I love you all, says Kathy. Kwana Parash, do you know who that is? No? Well, it's one of Kathy's friends. Says, "Love you too, Kat." They are both going to big. That is going so amazing. I'm not sure what that meant. Peter says, "Oh, you're so sweet, Kat." Okay, everybody's having a conversation with Kat. Hi, Kat. You're popular. We need to have you on here too.
Kat's awesome.
Kat's awesome. She reached out to everybody. Hey, don't forget to be on. Support, unconditional love and support. Kat's always love and support. In fact, she's a published photographer because I used the picture she took of me on the book I authored.
Oh, there you go.
So
she's a published photographer.
yes, she's a published photographer. Kat's a published photographer. Susie says, "Hi, Kat." Everybody's saying hi to Kat. That's so cute. Okay. Susie said, "Not sure what I'm watching, but I'm watching." All right. Thank you for watching, Susie. Anyway, and again, for those of you that jumped on, this is Sandylu Guerrero of Life Choice Coaching, your transformational business and life coach on my show, Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, with my very special guest, Vincent Medina. And let me continue. Xiomara Nicolas says, "Thank you very much. Can't wait." I don't know. I think we kind of passed what she was saying. I guess the video, your movie. Kwana says, "Yes." Kathy says, "My cousin Sandylu is amazing. She had a lot of adversity in her life, and look at her now. Girl, I'm so proud of you." Thank you, cuz. Thank you for your unconditional love and support always. You're like a sister. You're like my sister. Yvette Brooklyn says, "Trust the journey." Kathy's already saying summer party at Vinny's, by the way. Great
All right,
idea. All right, let's do
it.
it. Angie, my friend Angie's watching too. I think she just got back from Hawaii, so aloha.
Nice.
Aloha. Susie says, "Yep, so right. Time flies by regardless." So, I think that it has to do with
Yeah.
go for it anyway, because time is gonna go. Let's see. Kathy's saying hi to everybody. Hi, Kat. Hello, Kat. Hector, Script.
Oh, Script. What's happening, man?
He's saying, Vinny, my old party brother, from the early days.
From the early days. Me and Script go way back. Good seeing you, my man.
days.
It's my bro right there.
All right. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Your Aunt Letty's saying hi to Miko, Rob, and Dominique. They're on, I guess, too.
Oh, hey.
All right. Hi, everybody. All right. So let's see. Yvette Brooklyn says, some people have no vision. They love their comfort zones. Leaders don't live in comfort zones. Every day we grind, struggle, and it says Dave the fear. I'm sure that meant to say something else. So as personal experience, I had to keep a lot in secret. She did too. In secret because of lack of vision in others. And I think sometimes people impose their limitations on you.
Yeah.
They don't always do it
Not on
intentionally.
purpose, or, I mean, sometimes.
But
you know,
sometimes
but, you know.
they do it because they're not willing to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's knowing the difference. And that's why being clear on your vision and your purpose keeps you grounded.
Right.
Even when it's chaotic, like it keeps you on purpose, right? Let's see.
Keeps it going.
Hector Cedeno's on. He's also, I know him from the trainings, Spanish trainings.
Nice.
Mike says, Fours, my angel. Mike. What says Mike? Says,
Oh,
Fours,
Mike.
my angel.
Yes.
All right. It's a private language. All right.
My 4 for Mike.
And Hector saying, hey, Vinny vibes, let's do the bat again. LOL, good times. I don't know what that means. That's cold.
That's old school.
Old school.
Party crew language there, the bat. Yes.
The bat.
It was an initiation into our party crew when we were kids. Yeah. It was quite the experience. And him and I shared that together. We'll forever be brothers.
Kathy says, aha, he is still Vinny vibes, Hector. he's still DJ. He'll still
Which
DJ
Hector,
for
by the
our
way,
parties.
party man. Hector's actually running for councilman down in City of Pomona. So,
Very cool.
yeah,
We
really
gotta
cool.
have him come and
we
gotta
got
come and join us. He's gonna be on a show here.
So hats off to you, Hector.
Awesome.
Freaking
Congratulations.
Or Script, as we better know him.
Congratulations. Let's see. Who else? He also says, hey, we'll always be VV. Good guys since our teen days. Miss him. Been a while. So you gotta reconnect with him, with
Yes,
Hector.
we will.
Violetta says, yes, mentorship. Very important. And Violetta's checking in from New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So hi,
Hey, from New
Violetta.
Mexico.
Hi to New Mexico. Awesome. Lourdes is saying Kathy's next. Steve Chavez says, what's cracking? What advice do you have for a former stand-up comic and radio jock to keep going but in a different field of entertainment? And Kat Chang says, hey.
Okay.
Okay. So?
You know what I think, if there's one thing that I've learned in life is, and it's funny actually, this really successful producer said this, and I've taken it with me all the way, but passion, passion, passion. They said in real estate it's location, 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 and it is. But I think in life or anything you want to do, it's passion, passion, passion. Anything you do with passion, you can't stop passion, right? Passion is the driving force to get you to where you want to be. So, you know, if you have that passion, the problem is we give up, right? They always tell the story about the bamboo, right? I think it's like 5 years bamboo will grow. It'll take 5 years before bamboo will actually break ground. But what it's doing is it's spreading its roots down into the ground so that it can grow, you know, really tall. And so that's what happens is we give up before we get to break ground and grow. So, you know, it's just not giving up. It's, I mean, you read, you know, everybody talks about the overnight success that took them 20 years, you know. I mean, that's reality, you know. It's not going to happen overnight. And we know in ourselves if we half-ass something, you know. There's a difference between doing it with a passion and rigor, like we were talking about earlier, and doing something like, I'm doing this, but I'm not, you know. Because if you do it with a passion and you do it steady every day with that passion and you follow it, it's just going to happen. That's just the way it is, you know. I mean, don't believe me, read any book from anybody who's been successful, and they're all just like, it happens, but it takes time and it takes passion and it takes consistency, and, you know, it's, and it's funny, I was talking to Taking Carter, who's my film partner, He's a director, very talented guy. And when we were doing auditions, I realized, I was like, wow, there's not really a lot of good actors. And it made sense. I go, no wonder why they keep using the same people. You know, we always talk about why do we see the same actors? But I realized that what it is everybody wants to be an actor, but nobody wants to put in the work. You know, so like anybody could be an actor, but it's about taking the classes, finding a mentor, and continually working on your craft, right? So that you can be a master at what you do. And you read all these actors' stories, and you'll see that they did. I mean, you'll have a few, you know, that happen to strike it like out of nowhere, like, you know, Urkel or something. But, you know, most of these guys have put in a lot of time, effort, and energy into what they're trying to do. You know, so.
Yeah, you hear this all the time, and I'm like you. I'm a big YouTuber. Like, I'm always feeding my brain positive things, new ideas, etc., because it keeps me fueled. It fuels me. And one of the things I hear consistently in these videos too is that a lot of people quit right before it's gonna happen for you, like right before you're gonna hit the jackpot. Like everybody, you know, like you forget to you decide to not put that last coin in and invest in you, and you lose out on that. And
What's Kobe Bryant? They say Kobe Bryant's a natural talent. Well, he practices 8 hours a day. You call it natural talent? Well, yeah, maybe he has a little bit of natural talent, but if you practice 8 hours a day, guess what? You're gonna get pretty damn good at what you do. You know, so I mean, look at what these people have done. Don't just look at where they're at, and you'll see that. Oh wow, it's just a pattern. They all do the same things. You know, just repeating it.
Yeah, and it's about constant growth. I mean, you have a life coach, you have a business coach, and you also have a mentor. Mm-hmm. It's like, you could say, you know what, I'm already successful, I'm good, I don't need any of that, you know, I'm good, I could do it on my own, I made it already. But you know the need that there's, I think this is, we don't know what we don't know, we don't see what we don't see. Right. And sometimes what's the difference between our success and the next level is that little gap that we don't see, or so having those mentors and those coaches support us in being able to see those things. So those things are very key to success, and I think people don't realize the importance in investing in that and having that mentor. In fact, I have my eye on someone that I'm thinking I want to be my mentor, because he's already doing what I wanted, where I want to be, but I want to be, you know, I'm mindful because of what's my vision, where do I want to go, you know, all those things. Yeah. But like
and I've learned that people who are truly successful have no qualms with telling you how they did it. Because it's not about,
they don't feel threatened.
They're not threatened. They're not in competition. They're just genuinely trying to share what it takes, you know. And so, you know, yeah, people, that's the key. It's definitely a key on that.
It definitely is. Let me finish with these messages, and then we're gonna start wrapping it up. Steve says, I agree, I have the passion, but my field of choice are a bit draining and dying in itself. Good answer, thanks. If you ever need a long-haired guy that was a comic improv guy, I did some let's see, oh, I'm sorry, it says Seymour. I did some acting. So Steve is an actor. You need a long guy. You have a character. You might have a character.
Send us your info.
Send him your info. Definitely send him your info. Letty says, hi, Matthew June. Thanks for watching. Okay. Hector Skips has another comment. There's a few more comments. Mentors are important. He says, I've been married for 22 years because of an amazing mentor. I've become a city commissioner because of a mentor believed in me and inspired me. You can do things without a mentor, but they sure can make a wonderful experience with their guidance. It is up to you to decide if you should pursue it or not. Either way, be happy for yourself and then help others, and inspire success is what you make it. Let's see, Yvette says, make it.
Right on, it's good. Beautiful.
Yvette wants to ask, may I ask a question? If so, I would like to ask, what was the greatest sacrifice you had to experience in your journey?
Wow, what was the greatest sacrifice I had to endure in my journey? Well, I think there's a lot of sacrifices. I think relationships is a sacrifice, which didn't have to necessarily be, but I would say the pain of comfort. I mean, I was doing well. I was okay. I mean, I was making good money. There was no reason for me to leave. I mean, the reality is I did pretty well, and I was comfortable. And so the biggest pain, I mean, I had other pains before starting my company. I mean, I've endured some pretty rough times, you know. I mean, I've slept in my car. I've done some pretty wild stuff that was really painful. So when it came to quitting my job, I was like, what's the worst I gotta do? End up sleeping like on the street? Like, I've done that. That's nothing. So for me, it was the the fear, because I had such, that's such a hard question for me, because I had suffered so much pain, that when quitting my job and like starting a business was like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I end up homeless? Like, that's like whatever.
I know what you mean.
So
Totally
like,
get it.
was it fearful? Yes, you know, because I had responsibility now. You know, I had payments and cars and all that fun stuff, and so, you know, that was a fear. But when I realized where I had come from, I was like, I could never go that far back. So, you know, it was, that kind of kept me going. Like my dad has a saying, I love it. He says, I come from a pit. And like his analogy is like, I come from a pit. So like, what are you going to put me like somewhere further than a pit? Like that's as far as you can go. So, you know, and using that analogy, like I come from a pit. So like, how much more pain could I endure? Like what? I'm going to eat beans? Like I've ate beans, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's not, it was being willing to put yourself back in that position, you know?
Knowing you don't have to.
Knowing you don't have to, you know, that was painful, absolutely, you know, because I was comfortable, you know, I had a brand new freaking car, you know, my little convertible car that I loved.
I love your car.
And it was like, holy smoke, you know, I could lose this, but you know, so I guess that, I mean.
And it's a journey, and I'm sure there's a lot. You know, we go through so many different ones, but I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, considering that I've lost like my parents and my brother, and gone through so much, it's like it takes very little to shake me, because of the fact that you know it's the hardest, the worst thing that I've ever experienced. And so, you know, I think that there's a lot of value in that. You know, at the time we don't know that, you know, of course, but we learn, and it gives us strength, and we're resilient because of it. You know, we're resilient. Plus, we're living on purpose and vision, and that honors those people as well. You know.
I think it's Tony Robbins who says we do things when the pain becomes greater than the outcome. That's when we actually move, right? And so
And he tells you, I know, I heard when he's like, feel the pain of not having money, feel the pain.
yeah.
Right?
So the problem is we get
like,
comfortable, like we
feel
complain
it.
about our job, we complain about where we're at, but it's not painful enough to change it. So therefore we stay, right?
Yeah, so it's like, you don't have to suffer. Suffering is an option, and it's a choice.
Suffering is an option and a choice, and we decide to do it most of the time.
Yes.
That's the reality.
That's the reality, and I think when we take that ownership, and it changes and shifts a lot of different things, you know. Obviously, you still got to make a choice to move forward. It's still a choice you get to make. But anyway, time has gone by to everybody. The hour goes really, really quickly.
Oh, wow.
And we could talk for days, and we'll definitely have Vince here another day. And I want to talk about, you know, we didn't get to talk a lot about the work that you do with the youth, but I know you're very involved with the youth, and you recently volunteered
Yes.
at the Torch Foundation, which I'm
wow,
looking forward to hearing what your experience is, but you're going to have to hear about it later.
Yes.
But Vince is a man who you know, as you can see, is very intelligent, very humble, and resilient, and he's always giving back to his family and to the community, and I can tell you that for a fact. I've seen it. I mean, I heard that you even gave tuxedos to a school and nobody like knew. It just came out on a newspaper one time, or some suits to a school where Michael used to go for their prom or
that was
something
through
like
another
that.
organization.
Through another organization, you know. So Vince does a lot that a lot of people don't know about, and you know, I have so much respect and admiration for the fact that he gives. He's always giving. He's a very giving being. And so thank you for being here. Is there any last messages, any last words that you want to give to our audience?
Wow, any last words? I don't know, just if you're on the fence and you're trying to make change, make the change. The problem is they say people don't change. That's not true. You know, the reality is that we can change, but we just don't put in the effort to change. And it could be something as simple as, you know, an eating habit, or quitting your job and starting your own business. You know, I think, you know, put in the effort. You know, if you have the passion for it, put in the effort, you know, is what I would say. And in terms of, you know, you saying about the giving, I want to touch on that. Like, I get more by giving. You know, I hope one day I have way more to give, so I can give way more and impact more lives. You know, and if you're out there, that's the true purpose, is what I learned. If you're able to do for others, you know, that's the most important thing, because stuff, that's irrelevant, you know, it's people. And you know, we've lost a lot of people in our life, and we're just here for a short stay. So, you know, if you can make a difference and impact in somebody's life, that's what's most important. You know, the money, the cars, all that's cool, but it's really the people. So if I had to say anything, that's what it would be, that to love your loved ones, share time with them, you know, and if you have a passion for something, don't hold out, because you don't want to live a life of regret knowing that you had this greatness in you and you didn't do it, you know, because I've always felt like I had this ability to do something, and I would have killed myself had I not at least tried, you know.
Yeah, I know you live an extraordinary life, traveling, going here and there.
Fun.
Your office runs itself, you know. So for the most
Sometimes.
part, right? Yeah, for the most part, right? But you
I
know,
love
it's
office.
taking
I
work.
love
It's
people.
taking work, and you have amazing people that work for you. So, like Vince says, you know, go for your passion, go for your dreams. Be willing to be uncomfortable. You're never too old. You're never too old. What did I say? You're never too old. It doesn't matter if you don't have the money and you don't have all the answers. You'll figure it out along the way, but you got to take a step.
Jump
So-
and grow wings on the way down.
Yes, jump and grow wings on the way down. So remember that if you're going to take anything, take that with you. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Your support is greatly appreciated. Remember to share. If you haven't subscribed to my page, remember to subscribe at the end. You have that option to subscribe, so that way anytime I have a video, you are going to be alerted. And I'm going to be I have more guests coming in the coming weeks. And moving forward too, I'm going to have more guests. So if there's someone that you think would be an inspiration, that has something that will help transform people's life, that will empower people, please private message me. I'd love to connect with them. And also, if there's a topic that you want me to discuss, let me know, because I'm all about supporting you to create an extraordinary life. And I really believe that we're one sentence away from completely altering the course of someone's life. And this is part of the format, the platform that I'm using to support you in transforming your life and your loved one's life. So remember to share and subscribe. And also, just so you know, next Tuesday is 4th of July. So have a wonderful 4th of July. And I will be having a guest on Thursday, and instead of Tuesday, Thursday, and it's going to be at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And she's an author. She's also a psychotherapist, author, and a motivational speaker. And her name is Sania Mayo. And she's going to be sharing with us a book that she just authored. It's called Transition of a Butterfly, and it's about transformation, and it's a story about a young lady, and but she's going to tell us how she got into it. But she's a marriage and family therapist, so she's also going to give you some tips on you know, relating with your family and having a healthy family relationship, etc. Children, spouse, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking forward to having her on. So it'll be next Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Remember to share when I post the advertisement for it. But thank you once again for tuning in. I know we went a little bit longer, but I hope that you enjoyed this very valuable information. And my awesome cousin Vince, you'll be seeing him around, and we're definitely maybe we could get your cast here someday.
Yeah, we'll get some movie stuff coming,
We'll
for
have
sure.
some movie stuff coming up for his future his project he's working on, and maybe we could have your cast here so they could share a little bit about
Well, there you go.
That would be really cool.
All right.
Anyway, I'm already putting you on the spot. You're on the spot. You guys are my witnesses. He said, yeah, right on. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Remember that you have the power to choose how you want to live your life from moment to moment. You have a choice. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's a wrap.